Between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
Is it Tuesday again? Oh, I think it is. Hello, welcome along to Virtual Reality Racing Club Mini Challenge, which reaches the penultimate round. And as you can probably work out, we're at Thruxton, where you definitely can now with the logo on screen. The home of the VRRC, the British Automobile Racing Club, that was founded originally as the Brooklands Automobile Racing Club, the home of motorsport, and Thruxton could be considered the home of racing as well. Our broadcast tonight, as ever, thankfully, hosted by Steve Allen, and joining me in the commentary box for the first time is Ned Anthony. Ned, welcome along, and thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
No, thank you for having me. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks. Looking forward to working with you. And you're a driver that I think I commentated on a couple of seasons ago, or maybe last season, but for real and properly this year in the minis, a rookie class race winner in the JCWs. That must have been a moment.
Yeah, to be honest, a bit of an unexpected one at that stage in the season. But yeah, very good moment.
Absolutely thrilled for you that you got that at Oulton Park. And we'll talk more about that and your racing and the racing that we're going to get on screen as we go through the course of the evening. This is the schedule. I won't run through them all because most of you that have been watching probably know where we've been, and you can look at previous rounds and revisit them if you want to. But we're on round 6 at Thruxton, just the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit to go. That's in 2 weeks' time. We're having a week off before we go to Knockhill. Knockhill week, obviously, perhaps not the best time to be having a Tuesday night race because people do start travelling up there early. But we're looking forward to our finale at round 7. We've got a touring car driver joining us for that one on co-coms as well. And I know Ned was a little bit worried about following the excellent job that's been done by the previous commentators, and also I don't know if anyone knows who the touring car driver is. We're not going to say just yet, but a current touring car driver will join us on co-coms. But we are more than happy with Ned Anthony joining us this week. That's the schedule. Let's have a look back at some of the things that have been going on over the last couple of weeks, starting with the points table. Remember, it's one drop round and you can't drop the Brands Hatch GP one. At the moment, with the judicials that happened last week, Andy Dorman goes into the championship lead, but by just 2 points from Lewis Stannard. So Lewis, and we've already seen in practice, those of us that have been watching the practice times, that Lewis Stannard, as ever, is at the top, is up towards the top end of the table, and the ballast doesn't seem to affect him. He's up there battling it out for the top slot, and we can expect him to do that again. Lewis is in second. Harry Hickton is in third place. A couple of good rookie races for him over the weekend at Croft. Andy Carroll, one of our regular VRRC sim drivers, is fourth from Thomas Potter. Then it is James Black in sixth position from Alex Solly. Lee Piercy in eighth from Paul Laramie. Will Yap completes our top 10. All those drivers carrying ballast. The rest are not. Starting with Alex Walker in 11th place. Then we've got Callum Enstone, who was had a very successful week last week. You can see from the scores with the Gold Garland. We'll come to that in a minute. Kenny Press, one of our very busy drivers, races in the touring car head-to-head virtually on Wednesday nights as well. He's 13th. From Mackenzie Taylor. Next up is Jack McCall, who I had the pleasure of very briefly meeting at Croft on Sunday. Chris McKenzie, who we did a little interview with, is 16th. Will Crooks, who I had a good chat to as well, is 17th from Kevin Yap. Henry Howarth. Didn't see Henry at the weekend. Apologies for that, Henry, but we did talk a lot about Jam Sport on ITV4. Henry is 19th. I think Henry has retired to concentrate on his real world stuff. Will Clark is 20th in the standings, and we've got a couple more drivers, I think, to look at a little bit further in terms of the overall entries. 21st, Murray Richardson scored very well last week, did Murray. Zach Hancock was back with us as well and scored 34 points. DNS for Monroe Renard on last week's one. Hopefully he will be back. We'll have a look. Christian Gillian and Simon Sweetland. Simon, for whatever reason we haven't seen, but we look forward to seeing him in the real world Coopers when they rejoin us on the Toka package. And Christian Gillian, you might remember, had a broken arm, so he is recovering from that. And if he's fit enough, perhaps he'll have a go at Brands Hatch. Quick summary of last week's overall podium based on the points scored from all 3 races. And congratulations to James Black, who was top of the stack. It's a rhyme there, I shouldn't really be rhyming. Thomas Potter in 2nd position in the points last week. And Alex Solly wrapping up the podium. With Callum Enstone, after some great racing, we always end up scratching our heads as to who's going to be the driver of the round, but Callum took it. And this will be a special week for Callum because I'll get his name right all the way through the programme. Moving on, we've got the track map for you here. Great circuit. I always think it looks like a Stetson when you see it like that. Some people don't, but I think it looks like a Stetson. It's a great track, Thruxton. You'll always get a friendly welcome from the British Automobile Racing Club. And we're going to give a warm welcome to our driver giving us a hot lap around here in just a moment. So it's Andy Carroll, 4th in the championship. That's going to be our guide around the Thruxton circuit. And Andy's put a blistering lap together for us to give us the driver's eye view. The first thing you do is build up to the lap coming through the chicane, and then we are on to the first tricky bits of the circuit, the right-handed Allard corner, which we're going around now. A little bit of a curve, a left-handed curve before we get around into the complex of 3 corners. Campbell is the first one, which we're coming into now. Grab the apex at Campbell. Then it is left again at Cobb. And then the final part of the complex is Seagrave. And now we head out towards the left-hander at Noble. And this is the point where I'm going to bring in Ned Anthony. Here we go at Noble. Ned, it's a very long lap, isn't it? And although there's technically perhaps not a huge amount to do on the run out of the complex up to the chicane, it's all about bravery, I think, as much as anything else.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I was watching an onboard from Dan Camish, I think it was a few years ago, and he said even he was lifting through slight lack of confidence. So, you know, if a touring car driver is saying that, there definitely is. It definitely takes some skill and some bravery to do it. But it's such a slipstream track. I mean, if you mess up one corner, one exit of a corner, you can miss out on slipstream for the rest of the lap, and that can mess you up.
It's going to be interesting to see how it works out, isn't it, in qualifying. There was our lap from Andy Carroll, 1:18.878. You saw the run out of the famous church corner through the left-hand curve at Brooklands, up Woodham Hill and into the club chicane. The drivers have been warned, I have to tell you, by Luke Caudle and Rich Hayden about track limits. That will include straight lining chicane, which they mustn't do. Several drivers have been doing that. Track limits at Church has been an issue. A couple of drivers have been straight lining or going around the outside of the chicane to set up a fast lap. These drivers will do absolutely anything to gain an advantage, but they've all been warned against that. The officials are looking at it, as indeed they will be looking at contact as well as track limits. It's I've only done a couple of esports commentaries at Thruxton, but it tends, Ned, to mirror real life. I don't know if have you even been to Thruxton yet? I don't think you have, because you raced with us at the VRRC before, and I don't know if you've even had a chance to spectate there. But you mentioned you've looked at footage and looked at onboards as drivers do, but have you been yet?
I've been to watch. I went to watch my friend Monroe in the Coopers, and but no, I haven't driven. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But it's definitely an interesting circuit. Yeah,
nice one. Well, you know what the place is like. It is a great place to go. And to be honest with me, it doesn't matter whether it's wet or dry. It's a lovely, lovely track to visit. Even more so now they've got the big centre in the middle. Was it this year you came along?
It was, yeah. My
Yeah.
friend Monroe's first season in that, so had to go and support him at my local.
Do we know why he is absent? Is he concentrating on the real world at the moment?
I think so, yeah. He's got a busy life at the moment, so he's probably taking some time out for that.
Yeah, well, we wish Monroe well and hope he'll maybe join us for another series if we hopefully get another mini-series going on. And of course, he's welcome to join us in some of the other series that we do. This was the left-hand curve that I was talking about, Brooklands, and then they climb up Woodham Hill up to where the commentary position is for the circuit commentators here. Actually doubles up as the airfield control tower. They obviously don't land planes. You can see the control tower in the background there. Steve gives us the view of that, and that is the nearest thing you have to a greenhouse in the UK. If you're in there on the hottest day of the year, it's not the most pleasant place to be. Although, having said that, I was in there last year and I have put a little aircon unit in, so thanks to Thruxton for sorting that out, and it was reasonably comfortable. So, top of the times at the moment, Thomas Potter from Mackenzie Taylor. He's had a very good opening stint. Andy Carroll third from Lee Piercy and Andy Dorman. And who do you think is out of the real world drivers are the ones to watch, Ned?
Oh, I mean, this weekend Alex Solly showed some real pace at Croft. Unfortunately, he had a bit of a bad end to the weekend involving myself, but no, he's definitely one to look out for. He can show some real raw pace, yeah, I think that's sort of the ones I can see at the moment that are out. Obviously, you've got Will Crooks as well and Harry Hickton. They're both very fast drivers. So.
They are. It was great. Well, not great to see, but it was very lovely to see after the incident between you and Alex. You were straight over there to make sure he was okay and apologise for any part that happened, in that. And I think that was lovely for the viewers to see. And it just shows, you're not in his team, but there's good camaraderie, isn't there, in the paddock?
I think the JCW paddock is really friendly. I was quite surprised, being my first season. I was expecting it to be a bit like karting. I mean, I haven't long been out of karting, and it's not really a friendly place. So I'm glad that it is friendly, and we can get along well even after an accident. So yeah.
Yeah, they're a good bunch, and that goes for the officials as well. Paul, I don't know if you heard Paul O'Neill having a go at Rhea in the commentary box on ITV, but you maybe not watched it back yet. But no, it's all good fun. Paul's away; he's in America, so he won't be watching. So we can be rude about him if needs be. Not that I ever want to be rude about Paul because he's absolutely a top chap. But Lewis Stannard's gone pole, so I totally missed that. Don Wheatley told me off for wittering on when I should be watching what's going on track at the weekend, and I hope Dom is watching. Very definitely, Dom Wheatley, a candidate for the co-commentator's chair in a future round. So it'll be great to have him along. And this is the beauty of this championship, getting everybody involved, getting new names for people to listen to. And we've had a lot of really good positive feedback about it all so far. But there is Lewis Daniels, second in the championship, 27 kgs of ballast this youngster is pedalling. And I've got to say, I'm really impressed with Lewis because he was involved in some judicials last week. Haven't spoken to him since then. But again, he's one of those drivers that if there's an issue, if someone takes something against him, he'll just take it on the chin, get on with it and come back. And that's exactly what you've got to do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a really important trait, I think, with motorsport. The highs are very high, but the lows are also very low. And sometimes it's out of your control, so you just have to deal with it and move on.
And Lewis seems to be doing just that at the moment, peaking nice and early. We've got 6 minutes to go on the qualifying session. Thomas Potter was in second place, just as I was looking at the screen, but now gets demoted by Mackenzie Taylor, who's having a super run here. Great to see Mackenzie Taylor running well. And back with us, first time since Oulton Park, Mackenzie Taylor. So a very good run from him, and that's really good to see. It's great to see drivers coming back. Also very impressive at the moment is Kenny Press in fourth place. You can see from the graphics that Lewis Stannard gets a fastest sector, but Mackenzie Taylor doing a really good job at the moment in P2. Possibility here, we might get to some different drivers in our qualifying podium a little bit later on. Quick look down behind Kenny Press, we've got Andy Carroll in fifth, Lee Piercy. Lee is really due some luck in this campaign. He has had a win, but he's just been involved in a couple of things that have caught him out and been very unlucky. Andy Dorman's down in seventh. Andy turned up at Croft on Saturday, so it was great to finally get to meet Andy, and we took him into the mini awning, and he met Luke Cordell. Rhea disappeared. I think that was because she heard I was coming along to the awning, but Andy did get to say hello, and I think there's a picture of Ria with Thomas Potter. Thomas does all his social media and gets that. But there is Lee Piercy, looking to try and climb up from 7th place at the moment. Andy Dillman 8th, Alex Sollitt in 9th, Will Clark is in 10th place, Callum Enston 11th from James Black, Kevin Yap, Chris McKenzie 14th. Chris had a win in the JCW Sports on Saturday. Shame he didn't get the win on Sunday for the viewers, but we did name check him for that. Will Yap 15th from Will Crooks, and then Zach Hancock's is next up. Haven't got time for Harry Hickson yet, have we? So whether Harry's got an issue or not, I don't know. But
I think he said he's having some Wi-Fi issues, so hopefully he gets that sorted.
yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, with these sports now? I think it's Wi-Fi can affect it. The other thing which we get here, and I suddenly panicked this afternoon because I was cutting the grass with the electric mower and nearly ran over the cable, and I thought, last thing I want to do is blow all the fuses because no electricity in the house would mean I can't do this as well, because I don't think the laptop battery will last. But there are different problems, aren't there, that can manifest themselves in it. Have you done any esports?
Not competitively, not anything like this, but you know, I use it like a lot of people do to practice before a race weekend and get my eye in.
What sort of kit you got?
I've got Ace Tech stuff, so I've got an Ace Tech La Prima wheel and Forte wheelbase, nice curved screen, and it's quite a hefty frame actually.
Yeah.
All custom work by Sim Demon. So.
Very good. Does your dad push you off it sometimes and want to go?
He's tried it once, I think. He knows that it's not for him. He can't do it.
All right. Little tip for him: if he does, just give your mum a bit of tuition, make sure she beats him, and then he won't ask again.
Well, yeah, maybe that's the way.
So Lewis Stannard is top of the stack at the moment. The erstwhile, we have to say now, junior saloon car driver. Lots of talk in the Toka paddock at the weekend about what will replace the intended Toka Junior Championship, and lots of rumours. I won't go into them here for obvious reasons, but it's going to be exciting now because we've got the prospect of something new coming along into the Toka package, hopefully at some stage next year, as Thomas Potter. Yeah, that's the flying teapot going off the track. Thomas Potter, right time to do it though, isn't it? Really, in qualify, you don't want to do it in the race.
Exactly that. Yeah, and he's already set some pretty good times, so I think he can forget this lap and just back off and wait for the next one.
That's what Thomas will do. He won't be too unhappy with second place, will Thomas? I know he's very keen on the mini paddock at the weekend. It was great to see him and his sister Catherine, that's Chris Blakey, where am I going? Paul Laramie, who goes into the wall.
That was
somewhat
quite
incorrectly. Yeah, that was quite a big one, and that would bring the session to a halt normally, but luckily on esports we can carry on. So it's Lewis Stannard from Andy Carroll now in P2, Mackenzie Taylor in 3rd place with 1 minute and 57 to go. From your point of view, Ned, when's the best time to get the lap in? Is it early doors, or have a look, or at the end?
I think our technique usually in a qualifying session is go out, see what I can do. If I kind of set a decent lap and then either go the same pace or a bit slower, we come in, let the car cool down, possibly change the tyres on the front, and then head back out. Sometimes it's just worth backing off, cooling down. The cars are so hot in real life that it is good to let the car cool down and let yourself cool down, and then just try again. But I would say, yeah, go for it as soon as you can, really. You don't want to waste any time, because if anything happens, just like that crash that we saw, obviously that would be a session-ending crash. So, yeah, try and get it out of the way as soon as possible, just in case anything happens.
Yeah, get one into the bank and away we go.
Yeah,
a minute to go, so very nearly at the end of this one. It's beginning to look a little bit settled, and again, regular viewers will know that the pencil of doom comes out and I start writing them down. And then they change, the times change at the end of the session. But it's Stannard, Carroll, Mackenzie Taylor, Thomas Potter in 4th from Lee Piercy. Nice to see Lee on a bit of form here. And 5th, he maybe won't be overly happy with, but it does put him in the mix to get up towards the podium as Lewis Stannard goes across the line again. And Lewis still trying to bang in some quick laps. And this is a really good performance from Lewis with the extra ballast on, Ned.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a slightly heavier car, and for the pace, the times he's putting in, I'd say that's a good effort.
People, it's lovely actually at the meetings that people do come up and talk to me about the esports series, which is really great. And someone said, "Oh, you must be that youngster must be doing a lot of practice." But that's the whole point of it. I mean, that's, you know, it doesn't matter whether if you can test. You know, you don't have to pay extra money for testing on this. You do in real life, but you know, nobody can take it away from Lewis Stannard or any of the other drivers that are putting the time in during the week to build up to these events. And what we'll find is when we do the race 2 podiums, the timing screen switches over to the next event and people are already on it at that time and getting some practice. The focus goes straight away. Lewis running a tiny little bit wide there as he goes through Brooklands. Do we reckon he's going to set another lap here? He's looking very quick.
That is looking quick, yeah, very possible.
He's got clear track. He's not using a tow. The tow does work on the sim, but rides the curbs a little bit there, might unsettle the car as he goes past the point where I watched the Saturday racing there, the little Marshall's hut on the inside of the chicane. And is that Lewis coming in that we were following? Yes, it is. So Lewis, as we get down to the checkered flag on the session, it's Lewis Stannard. Thomas Potter made it up into 2nd position from Andy Carroll. Mackenzie Taylor down into 4th. So we're a minute past the timeout now as we follow Thomas Potter again with clear track. Let's see whether Thomas can maybe grab another one. Doesn't look like he's going to improve on the P2 time, but he seemed to bang that one in just about right, did Thomas?
Yeah.
Top 10 complete. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. No, that's all right. There's quite a big gap as well between 1st and 2nd for now, so it'd be interesting to see if he can close that.
It will be. Lewis Stannard becomes our second pole position setter. Thomas Potter had 2, and now Lewis has got 2. They're really impressed with Mackenzie Taylor. Shame we're not going to 4th on the interviews, but Mackenzie, that will be one of the key things that might put him in for driver of the round, coming back in after a couple of rounds away and banging in a very good, very impressive qualifying time. Let's just run through the times as everybody comes into the pit lane. Lewis Stannard is pole position. Well done, Lewis, from Thomas Potter, Andy Carroll. Mackenzie Taylor 4th, Lee Pearcey in 5th from Kenny Press. Then it's Paul Laramie and Andy Dorman down in 8th. James Black 9th from Alex Solly. Will Clark next up from Callum Enstone and Will Yap. Kevin Yap 14th with Will Crooks in 15th from Chris Mackenzie. Murray Richardson 17th and Zach Hancock's in 18th. Let's hope that Harry Hickton can sort his Wi-Fi out. He can join us and start off the back of the grid if he would like to do that. And of course, he'd be very, very welcome. And it would be a little bit more of a show for us. That's the rundown of the drivers in qualifying. We'll be back with a chat with the top 3 in just a moment. Welcome back. So let's have a word with our top 3 in qualifying, starting with the driver in 4th position in the championship, which indicates that he has a fair amount of ballast on board. We'll say good evening. We'll say well done to Andy Carroll. How are you, Andy?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, having a few technical issues today, which are conspiring to impact upon my driving. But yes, I was quite surprised that I got 3rd there, to be honest.
Okay, so what sort of technical issues?
My wheel rim failed about 90 minutes ago. So
That's a biggie.
had to scramble around trying to find a alternative option for shifting gears, and I have no clutch. So I'm now, kind of having to drive one-handed because my shifter is so far away. It's not worth me taking my hand off the shift. So yeah, but apart from that, all is good.
I know poor old Rich Hayden's had a bad week, and he was
Yes.
having a chat with me, and I said, apart from that, everything's all right, is it? And I always say that to people, but you know, bless any of you out there that are having issues this week, and I hope they get better. So basically, you've got to do a race with one hand tied behind your back.
Got to do 30 minutes driving these things with one hand.
Does that? Yes, the trouble is,
my
if
hand's already exhausted just for qualifying.
if Rich and Luke are listening, they're going, "Oh, well, you see, Andy Carroll calls that because he was only using one hand." That's the trouble, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm always listening.
So anyway, that even more impressive then. Loads of ballast, one hand behind your back. And we metaphorically say that the ballast is having one hand tied behind your back, but decent performance really. So you can't be too unhappy with that.
Yeah, as I say, I mean, yeah, timing-wise, I was probably 2 or 3 tenths off where I thought I should be, but yeah, given what I've been scrambling around to fix, again, no real complaints. Yeah, I think I'm gonna struggle off the line with no clutch, so I might lose a few spots at the beginning, but this race is going to be completely about trying to save that front lift, because I've done a couple of race runs and it's a real struggle to get it past about 19 laps, and I think it's going to be 23 laps. So yeah, it's towards the end. It could be interesting for you guys to be watching.
We will. I will bow to Ned Anthony to remind me about that, because being an Oulton, I tend to forget things like that. But it's my fault actually, Andy, that you got the issue, and for Harry Hickton as well, because I'd marked on my notes that you two are just 2 points separating you. So, you know, let's have a great evening watching Harry Hickton and Andy Carroll, where they are relative to each other. And Harry Hickton gets internet issues and isn't even on the grid at the moment, which is a pity. And then you get the issues as well. So hey ho, I'm going to wish you well for the race and let you go and
thank you.
Get some tape out or whatever you need to do, and say well done on third, and we'll catch you in the race, Andy Carroll.
Cheers.
Well done, Andy. Always great to have a chat with him. And our second place driver banging one in there pretty late on. Thomas Potter, well done, Mr. P. How are you this evening?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty nervous because I think I took that qualifying a bit too safe, but glad to manage to get on the podium in the end.
Too safe? Why would you do that?
Making sure, well, as Rich told everyone about track limits, making sure I just didn't get it and make sure that was valid. So I could have probably had more time if I was pushing the track limits to the very limit, but glad to still get a top 3 finish.
Yeah, don't mention track limits when anyone from the Toka paddock's around, mate. It's always an issue across all the classes is track limits, and tends to be so. I think the worst set of drivers we had with track limits and comments and all that sort of thing was the Clios, which of course the mini championship took over. So yeah, track limits always an issue. But yeah, great pace, and there was in practice before, wasn't there? So have you done a fair bit of practice on the track over the week, Thomas?
Yeah, fair bit as well. Not only that, as you saw me at Croft, I was doing practice every time I went home from Croft because I had 30 minutes, which is quite lucky. So I've had probably the most practice I've actually had for this round, even though I've been the most busy, which I'm, well, surprised by.
Yeah, we don't have homework now. Do the schools give you a summer project, by the way, to do, or do you get away with that?
No, we don't. Well, they did last year, but this year I'm being lucky to not have any homework to do over the summer, other than read. So not going to complain.
That's good. Do you want to? I'm going to ask you. I'm not tempting fate, but maybe do a quick shout for your sponsors, as it's the first time on the podium for the day.
I was going to ask to do that anyway. So. Huge thanks to all of them on the car kit and their U5 and Motor 22 or Falcon, Prep Right and Britons, and well, you've all been great, but as well as hopefully Gary from Redline is watching. Oh wait, I don't think I was meant to say that, but hopefully he's watching as well. From Redline over there, as I was just at Croft on Friday as well at a Driven Net meeting, which went really well. Met loads of people, but just good luck to all my not good luck to my partners, but good luck to me, and thanks for all my partners on the car.
That's a good way to finish the interview. Wish luck to yourself. Well done, Thomas. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on. I need to move on to the next interview, which is our pole man. What a performance from Lewis Stannard. All the ballast and pole position. Well done, Lewis. How are you this evening?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Oh, very well. Thank you for asking. Last week, I gave you a bit of hammering on the points, didn't they?
Yeah, a little bit.
Judicials, but you've come back, and I admire drivers that come back and just draw a line under it and deliver, which you've done.
Yeah, obviously last week I made my own couple mistakes in the second race, which, you know, put me down quite a bit, but it was all on me. I've made sure I apologise to the person it was on. So yeah, just head down, get on with this week, try and get all those points back, try and oh no, I'm not leading championship. Try and get the championship lead back.
Yeah.
So yeah, just head down, get on with it.
You're top man, and you're just going up in my estimations every week, and the way you've handled that, absolutely superbly, really well done. Absolute credit to the sport, mate. Very well done indeed. How on earth do you do it though? Pole position with virtually maximum ballast.
Just putting the time in, to be honest. Literally hours every day, try and get every last bit of time I can get. So yeah, just a lot of time, a lot of effort, looking at the data, literally doing absolutely everything.
Really good. We've only got a minute and a half or so to go, so I'm going to have a little chat with Ned Anthony. But very well done, Lewis Stannard, on pole position. I think we may well possibly talk to you on the podium a little bit later on, unless you've got anything else you want to add.
Yeah, just thank you to my sponsors, Agentive, Juicens, Patterson's, which is in Tottenham Corner, so it's not that far from you if you want to go down there at some point. They're
What do they
really
do?
nice. It's a cafe, so they do all sorts of food and
Sounds like a
drinks,
plan.
and yeah, it's nice. So yeah,
Excellent.
big thank you to all of them.
Yeah, excellent. We'll go and have a look, and I expect a discount as well for them. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, we'll have a look. We'll have a go down Tottenham Corner. Lewis, top job. Very well done. Congratulations. We'll see you after the race.
Cheers, thank you.
That was Lewis Stannard, our pole man. Some good bets there, Ned Anthony.
Yes, yeah, it's a good insight into the different sort of backgrounds that people come from, and how much time they spend practicing.
Just under a minute to go before we get the lights out here, and Thruxton, normally on a touring car weekend, absolutely rammed on a Sunday. One of my friends wanted to come down. He always watches it on TV on the Sunday, and quite likes the Saturday because he gets more of a chance to wander around the paddock, because there isn't so much racing on, so you can nip around the paddock, talk to everybody. And I think some people that come for 2 days use the Saturday as a chance to sort of do the more social thing. And Thruxton, I don't know, it always seems more appropriate to do it at Thruxton. I don't know why, but a quieter day is easier to get out. But yeah, huge crowds and enthusiastic crowds that we get. And the most British thing going is the clapping that you get from the grandstand at the end of the race, which we won't have here, but if you ever go for real, make sure you get down there and hear that. Lights are on though, we're ready for the start of race number 1 of the evening, our penultimate one. Look at that start there by Lewis Stannard, gets away well. Thomas Potter trying to slot into second position. Aiming for third was Mackenzie Taylor, and he's on the outside run at the moment. So Mackenzie Taylor is there. Andy Carroll, I think, might get demoted to fourth. Andy's already thrown the driver's book of excuses at us, hasn't he? But I think we can understand him, to be absolutely fair. But he's done a great job holding on to third place at the moment as Mackenzie Taylor goes a little bit wide. Here we come out of the complex for the first time, and it's Lewis Stannard clear of Thomas Potter as they head down in towards Noble for the first time. Decent start though, Ned.
Yeah, definitely. I was fairly clean actually. I mean, as I say that, looked like a car was coming around.
Yeah, trying to
Careful
suss
as
out.
it rejoins.
That's Lee Pearcey having no luck again, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a bit of a bad accident actually behind everyone. You can see cars going off in the background.
Yeah, not good to see. That always happens. We'll get a co-commentator in, we'll get through the first 2 corners, we'll say that was good, wasn't it? And then ping, they all go off as soon as we invite you to add a little bit of comment to it. Paul Laramie's down there at the back. But this is the classic view, kind of what you get from the commentary box at the track, with 3 wide here, with Alex Solly looking up the inside. Alex qualified in 10th place and is up to 6th. We've got another car disappearing down the order, but Alex Solly, I don't think was part of that. I think he was clear of that incident by that point, but Alex Solly has made a great amount of praise. Up to 5th now, Alex Solly. Look at that, really cracking start from him, and hopefully that'll be a nice pick me up for him after the weekend.
Yeah, I do hope so. It looks like we have Harry Hickton in now as well. It looks like he sorted his Wi-Fi issue out, which is good.
Ah, great spot. Yeah, let's have a quick look down and see. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So Harry, yeah, we'll try and make his way up towards the front. There is Harry at the back of the field, nicely picked up by Steve, our director. He can come and work for us at ITV doing direction like that. And yeah, great to see Harry. Needs the points here, and maybe stirred on by the fact that the 2-point gap to Andy Carroll is a little bit too close for comfort for him, but he's going to try and make his way up and deal with Paul Laramie as we go on board now with Andy Carroll. Now, does it show just one hand? Andy really has been in the wars, hasn't he, this evening? So Mackenzie Taylor doing a good job to get up into third. But there's already a gap, isn't there, Ned, here? And that's good for Lewis and possibly Thomas. Thomas, I'm wondering if Thomas would benefit from a wingman to help him with the tow as they come into the club chicane again. And they've got to be so careful about that. But Thomas Potter doing everything that he can to try and close in on Lewis Stannard. And we can see them in the distance. You know, I was going to come back to leading races or leading classes. You know, when you got the class win at Oulton Park. I can't remember, and you have to refresh my memory. Were you aware that you were in the lead of the class? Because it was a bit of a stop-start race as well, wasn't it?
It was. I think there were 2 safety cars, and to be honest, on the second safety car, I was sat there and I thought, you know, I've got to sort of chill out now. And then I started to count the cars in front and looking at who they were, and it was only then that I realised, because I had no idea, and it was kind of only really the last lap that I really knew. So yeah, you don't always know where you are, and it's quite exciting, but it makes it a bit harder sometimes.
Yeah, I would imagine it does, as Chris Mackenzie coming under a bit of pressure here from Paul Laramie. Great to see Chris up into the top 10 again. So again, we have our eyes on who might well be the driver of the round, and that could be somebody making a good amount of improvement over the course of the evening, or yeah, it could be a single race performance, to be absolutely honest. But Paul Laramie actually coming under pressure from Chris Mackenzie. Chris did a fantastic job at Croft with the win that he did on Saturday. I watched it from turn 1 at Clervaux, and he was, you know, as perfect as you can be in those JCW sports, lap after lap after lap, and the likes of Henry Howarth couldn't get close to him. It was a really good, and Archie Johnson as well. So it's such a great class, and some really good fierce battling. And you can see here he's now we've got the battle on for the lead. Thomas Potter is not letting Lewis Stannard off easily here. This is good, isn't it, from Thomas?
It is, yeah. I mean, that gap is, you know, on a normal circuit it might take a few laps to get up next to him, but because it's such a slipstream based circuit, you know, he could be in front of him by the end of the lap. But yeah, we'll find out.
I think these two drivers have been practicing together over recent weeks. Certainly Lewis alluded to that. Thomas spends a fair bit of time on the sim, as we heard in the interviews. Best lap so far with Thomas, a 120.4, and Lewis Stannard a 120.5. If they start to tow each other around, that may well change as we head back around these really scary corners that if you're a journalist, you can actually go out to church. I'm not sure if it's a selective journalism we can go. I haven't done it, I hasten to add, as we get the battle on for third place again. And Mackenzie Taylor looking on the... Andy Carroll's doing a super job here. Wonder if he put that bit about the wheel and the hand to make us think about driver of the round. But Mackenzie Taylor goes through past Andy Carroll up into third place. They're losing ground. Thomas Potter sets another fastest lap with the 20.443. So Thomas, these two, if they work together, Andy Carroll, they never seem to get the email. You're a one driver team at the moment, aren't you, with Amigo Motorsport? So do you find someone else to work with when a tow is needed, Ned?
Well, I think at the start of the season, me and Harry Hickton probably thought, you know, let's work together, and you know, I was getting up to pace still and learning the car. But I think after the Oulton win, he's probably forgotten about that and sees me more as competition. So rather than help each other out, we'll probably just, you know, try and fight for the position.
That's true, actually, isn't it? It's pretty good, isn't it, when you're getting wins along with the likes of Harry Hickton in the championship. And of course, I guess Harry's got Charlie Mann as well in the Manpower Motorsport team to help him out as well.
Yeah, exactly, and to have a teammate. Yeah, to have a teammate as well. It's just, yeah, it does make a difference. But I don't have that as someone goes off there, didn't catch the car.
That was Paul Larry, wasn't it? Just dropping back to 9th place. Chris Mackenzie settling into that 8th position ahead of him as we go back to the scrap for 3rd place. And I was going to actually just say on the back of the single car team at the moment, Amigo Motorsport, looking very happy and very comfortable in the JCW camp. And if anyone's watching and wants to join a team where, you know, they'll look after you, and they're a nice team, you know, Rob and his dad John and the family are great people. I've known them a very, very long time and watched Rob since he was in Ginetta Junior, the old bubble G20s. And I'm sure they'd love to get you a teammate for next year.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'd be very happy to accept someone in and you know, extend the team.
That would be good. Fingers crossed that that's the case. Can be a JCW Sport if needs be. As Paul Laramie here is trying to come back again. Paul doing a really good job. So too is Chris McKenzie. It's wonderful to see Chris in the top 10 in the first race here. Super job from him. And Andy Dorman, the driver in front of him, the championship leader, in 7th place. Points-wise, Lewis Stannard will go back to the top. We don't publish the points till the end of race 2, which means I've got to do my sums. It's going to be horrendous, actually, because I know our touring car driver's probably not that good at maths for the next round. But I have to try and work things out as we go, particularly with a close championship with 2 points at the moment separating first and second in the table. But Lewis Stannard wants it to be a bigger gap than that when he leaves here. And Chris McKenzie, again, seeing two really good sides of Chris McKenzie, Ned. The fact that, you know, he attacks, he comes back, gets positions back, but he also races and defends well. He's lost the place there, as I say that, curse the commentator. But he's giving room, isn't he? And doing a great job on track.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. Whilst, you know, you need to defend and try and keep them off as much as you can, at some point they might come through and to avoid a larger accident, sometimes you just got to let it happen, really, and resettle yourself and go for it again.
It's been a real pleasure to watch Chris McKenzie developing as a driver, coming through. I think as you did, he's raced in city cars, raced in City Car Cup rather than the C1 Endurance Championship, but a similar vibe for starting off. And if I can talk about that for a little bit, it's a good place, isn't it, to start your racing?
I think so, yeah, and Chris has been very successful in it, actually. I think he won, or was at least on the podium at Snet a few weeks ago, I think.
He's always winning in it now.
Well, yeah, that's very true. And yeah, like, you know, you and Paul were talking about it at Oulton, and it's a good place to learn. You learn basically everything you need to in a car, whilst they're not very fast, and you get loads of understeer. It's kind of what you need to learn for the worst conditions of a proper car.
Yeah, you only got to look at the quality of the other winners to see how good they are. We can talk about, you know, the Leicester team, the City Car Cup teams, and then going back, I think the first year Nick Grindrod was champion. Nick Grindrod actually holds the record in pickup truck racing, which is the NASCAR type pickups that run here in the UK. And I think he holds all the records for pickup truck winning, and he came out of that when he had 2 young sons, and took a bit of a break, and when he came back he went into City Car Cup and he was winning in that as well. Not as easily as he did in pickups, but that just shows you what the level of winning drivers is in pickup truck racing. So in City Car Cup, when you've got champions from other formulae coming in and being able to do it. So what Chris McKenzie does is actually very, very good indeed. Look at Kenny Press now, the guy that looks after... Kenny looks after all our liveries, by the way, Ned. So all the liveries that are fed into him, he will transform them from ideas into into virtual reality on the cars here. I'm sure you'd agree they look great.
They do, yeah. They look really good, and to see, you know, the real life liveries online, it is really cool.
So Kenny Press making a move, goes up past Chris McKenzie. Chris down to 10th place now, and Kenny, one of our drivers that doubles up. He'll be racing in the head-to-head touring car championship tomorrow evening. So I don't know what he does with the rest of the time. I struggle to do one evening a week on this, but it will be Scott Wilbis and hopefully Becky Aparicio back with us commentating tomorrow evening. I have had a couple of requests for people to ask if they can join the commentary team. We are okay for commentators. Thanks ever so much to everyone that does get in touch. I don't want to disappoint people saying, you know, it's not, no, we don't want you. We haven't really got room at the moment, so apologies for that. But thank you for showing the interest and for following us. We really do appreciate it. As Chris McKenzie carries on. I was getting elected. Do you know anything about Bitcoin, by the way, as well? Because he's the Bitcoin man, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what the link is. I obviously know about the real Bitcoin, but Bitcoin racing, does it have any link to real Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think so. I think they Chris and the team, and apologies if I get it wrong because it's about a year since I had a conversation with Chris's mum about it. There is a link, and I think they are sort of marketing it and promoting it. And we were actually talking about it at dinner on Saturday, and one of the ITV producers has just done a documentary on Bitcoin, and has also invested money in it and made a lot of money. I'm not sure I should say that on air, but you know, if you're making a doco on it, then you're probably going to take the advice, aren't you?
Well, exactly that. I mean, it's better than saying that he's lost money from it. So.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think it's like any investment, it can go up as well, go down as well as up, and it depends when you put your money in. So I've done the disclaimer As we go on board, Andy Carroll's doing a good job here, isn't he? He's where are we? We're very nearly halfway through the race, and he's still knocking on the door of that podium.
Yeah, and he's really not far off either, only 3/10. And that's all he really needs to do. Is if he gets past there and he's on the podium, there is quite a big gap to second place. But if he does it, he can stay there and defend the position.
See whether we can get back in front of Mackenzie Taylor. It's really good to have Mackenzie back. Did the first 3 rounds with us. Had a 4th place, tantalisingly close to the podium at Oulton Park. That's his best result of the 6 races that he's contested so far. So we may now see another personal best here. Just as I say the commentator's curse, we start getting the locking up smoke out of the back. And the 4th place car of Andy Carroll gets close to it. This is where you need the big round things. I'm not talking about tyres as they close up, certainly in the real world. I know one driver in touring cars actually been off at Church twice, both really big accidents, and still came back again for a 3rd time to try and do it. As Andy Carroll goes up the inside here, he's got the run as they come up the Woodham Hill into the club chicane and gets that 3rd position back. And Andy Carroll maybe, Ned, thinking about what he said in the qualifying interview, knows that he's got to maybe try and get into that 3rd and hang on to it, or get a bit of gap before things get tricky towards the end of the race for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, the slipstream is so strong here that all he has to do is defend. I doubt he'll be closing a 2-second gap. Although, actually, I say that he has just brought it down a few tenths. Never know. He might get there, but I'd be very surprised. All he has to do now is really defend this one and keep it for the end of the race.
Don't say all he's got to do.
Right, yeah, I said easier said than done, but
absolutely right. Harry Hickton's in the pit, so sadly didn't get too far. Harry, wish you well. Fingers crossed we can get Harry Hickton out for race 2. It may or may not be a draw. I haven't got Harry's breakdown of scores. Let's have a quick look. Probably it's a possibility. Yeah, we're just having a look at Paul Laramie here, trying to catch up with championship leader Andy Dorman. I'm just taking my eyes off the screen to look at the stats that I've got. Harry's dropped round. He's probably going to be Snetterton, which is event 2. So even if he comes out for race 2, it may not be his drop round. So there's very definitely, if you can get the Wi-Fi issue sorted out, it'd be interesting to know who his provider is. We use BT, and in the summer the cables melt and we go offline. As coming offline to make a move is Paul Laramie to try and go through on the inside of Andy Dorman. He's got the move done. So Andy did tell me in practice, or when he was practicing at the weekend when I saw him at Croft, that it was going to be damage limitation today with the amount of ballast that he's got on the car. And I guess the difference between himself and Lewis is that, Andy has to, I don't mean this in a derogatory way. Lewis is a student, and we're on summer holidays, but Andy has to go out during the week and go to work. So there is a slight difference. I'm not saying that Andy can't be up all night doing the racing, but there is a difference, isn't there?
yeah, definitely. I mean, even with real life racing, you see more people testing than others. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference how much you practice, and hopefully today it doesn't make a difference, but I guess we'll find out.
I think we will. Lewis Stannard doing a super job out front. So we're back with Thomas Potter and Lewis. And Lewis has just got that arm's length lead at the moment. He's built that up, and it's a comfortable-ish. I think I used that word on Sunday. A comfortable-ish lead at the moment over Thomas Potter. Thomas trying to hunt him down, and obviously was a little bit worried about track limits from what he was saying in qualifying. But these two, absolutely exemplary. And I'll make the case again. I think I've said in previous rounds that when you get two drivers that are that close, they're not battling. You're not seeing them trying to pass each other, but they're just matching each other. To me, that's every bit as exciting as watching two cars dicing, even if they're not dicing.
I think so, yeah, because it means by the end of the race, the result might be completely unexpected, and that does make it exciting.
I'll tell you what, third and fourth aren't that far away. Andy Carroll and Mackenzie Taylor, had they worked together, one wonders whether they would be closer to first and second.
I think so, yeah. They have closed that gap by a fair bit. Obviously, it shortens and extends on certain parts of the circuit, but yeah, it looks like they've done well.
They have. Just having a quick look down the order. So, one thing I haven't done yet is talked about the top 10, because we have the top 10 reversed in race 2. Chris Mackenzie sitting on that provisional pole at the moment. and he'll have Kenny Press, as things stand at the moment, on his outside the front row with Andy Dorman, row 2, and Paul Laramie just outside that position, so looking to try and get into pole position for race 2. Kevin Yap in 11th and Callum Enstone in 12th. Will Yap's 13th. It's unusual. I think it's unusual to see Kevin ahead of Will in this one. Apologies to those guys if I've got that wrong. Murray Richardson 14th from Lee Piercy. Will Crooks is 16th. Well done, Will. And then Will Clark in 17th at the moment. And so sadly we lost Harry Hickton, but back with our lead battle. And what's more difficult for your perspective, Ned? Actually, we'll come back to that because Thomas is putting the pressure on there. He's going through the complex. You do tend to see more changes of position here when it's a little bit more crowded. Otherwise, the changes tend to happen with bravery, maybe around the outside at church, or maybe grabbing an inside if there's an opportunity to do so, or into the club chicane. You can see Lewis Stannard, but really battling with that ballast. Thomas Potter actually has a fair bit of ballast as well. He's got 18 kilos, so just over half of what the championship leader's got, and a little bit less than Lewis Stannard. So both of these youngsters doing great stuff. Our race leader, I remind you, an ex-VRRC Junior Saloon Car Championship driver, and Thomas Potter, not of age to race juniors yet, but is intent on joining Ginetta Juniors next year.
Yeah, I think those junior series do really set in some good skills with racing for younger drivers, and it's evident even with online racing. So definitely some good skills learned there with Lewis. What
were you doing from the ages of 14 to 16? Obviously we didn't see you in any of the junior formula. Did you have a go at a scholarship, or were you karting, or
no?
What were you up to?
I didn't even start karting until 16.
Wow.
So a very late starter. I did the rental karting at Team Sport and places like that at my local Dunkeswell Raceway, but no, it's a bit of a late starter, so I didn't get any of that early experience.
Dunkeswell's the Nigel Mansell facility, is that right?
It was, yeah. So he sold it.
It was
coming up on 2 years ago now, I think.
He's been doing away with a lot of assets, and I know he sold sold his race car a couple of years ago at auction as well. So
yeah, he did. I think he was buying a new yacht.
Oh, that good for him. Actually, yeah, he did a video tribute for Steve Ryder the other day. That was on the coast, so maybe that's what. But you can't blame him. He, absolute hero, Mansell, back in the day. You won't remember him though.
No, God, no.
Let's had loads of pictures and videos of him at Dunkeswell when he was there.
There was a lot of memorabilia and different bits, and there was old family carts and helmets and stuff. So yeah, it was. Well, to be fair, he owned it for a while when I actually worked there as well. So
did you?
Yeah, I got to meet him for one of his visits.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And was he okay?
Yeah, he's very nice guy. He's quite quiet, but he's had a life full of people trying to talk to him, so I'm sure it gets tiring.
That you make a very good point. I met him at the XL Motor Show a few years ago, and people were really rude to him and prodding him and literally prodding him to sign autographs when he was talking to other people and being very rude. And yeah, as you say, a lifetime of that is hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And even at the events that the touring car boys are at, they get so much attention, and to think that F1 gets at least 10 times the amount of coverage that touring car does, I can't even imagine what it feels like.
Yeah, it must be difficult, as it's difficult for these boys. The top four, what a race we've got here. This, I think, is possibly one of the closest races we've had in the series so far. The top four all in camera shot from Steve, our director, which is great as they go through Brooklands again. But have a quick look at the time. How are we doing? We've got 8 minutes 32 remaining. And this hasn't gone the way I thought, because Lewis Stannard has maybe pulled out a little bit more now over the last couple of laps, and Thomas Potter might be driving on his mirrors to a certain extent. Well, he definitely is now. This is going to help. I think this is going to help Lewis, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, well, there are 3 of them now, so the slipstream will be even stronger. But well, I saw it in the Coopers with Monroe, Renard, and one lap they come round, he's at the front of a group. Next lap he comes round and he's at the back. So anything can happen at this point.
Mackenzie Taylor up into 3rd place now, but Andy Carroll's going to have a go and try and get him back. Thomas Potter on the defensive. He could really use these guys to work with him to close up on Lewis Stannard out front, but it's Stannard at the moment didn't bag the win last week. Ultimately, he's had 2 wins with us in the championship so far. Is he going to be able to grab a third here? I think we'd be brave to bet against him at the moment. But Thomas Potter now from being chaser to being chased by Mackenzie Taylor, and I can't recall Thomas and Mackenzie having a race so far in our series. So this again is new territory for Thomas, new for Mackenzie as well. Mackenzie will be keeping an eye on his mirrors. He's got Andy Carroll not too far behind him, and Thomas Potter. Has something gone wrong with Thomas? Was he looking in his virtual mirror? That is going to cost him dear, but he comes back on, and now is that gaining an advantage there by going off and coming back on in front of Mackenzie Taylor? What's your view there, Ned?
Well, I think that would probably go through officials, but the way I see it, well, I suppose actually there is a bit of a gap there now, but usually I would say, he's all right because he was in front anyway.
Yeah, he came back on, didn't he? So relatively safely. So Thomas definitely under pressure though, and Lewis Stannard, all the work that he's put in the first 2/3 of the race is paying dividends now. He goes through, comes out of the complex with Thomas Potter still in P2, and amazingly we've got Andy Carroll back up to 3rd, ahead of Mackenzie Taylor, who's very nearly at this point a lap ago in 2nd, has got all the work to do again to come up from 4th place. But really good racing from Andy Carroll and Mackenzie Taylor in this one to fight it out for 3rd. I'm not saying that the other 2 drivers in front of him aren't doing well. Obviously Lewis with the ballast is doing great, but this battle for 3rd place has been super all race long, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. The Thruxton, it really relies on the quality of the racing because it's such a flat and smooth circuit. So yeah, they're doing well to entertain.
Wondering if Thomas's tyres are starting to go off. We've got 5 minutes left, and he went incredibly wide there again as we ride with Mackenzie Taylor. Let's see what Matt can do. Come up into the chicane, he takes a slightly wider run in. This might be about gaining the momentum to perhaps pop the car on the inside as they go into Allard. He's a little bit pulling away actually, is Andy Carroll at the moment, so it wasn't the case there as they go past the exit of the pit lane. Again, if you can come to the inside of the circuit, it's a great place to watch there. So many really good vantage points. They've opened up a new vantage point along Woodham Hill this year as well. If you get a chance to go to any of the remaining club meetings through the course of the season, then it's well worth exploring all the different areas where you can watch here. If not, we look forward to you joining us for some mini racing next year at Thruxton. Schedule's out for Token next year. I think you could probably, or possibly buy the tickets already for next year. Usually do early bird discounts and things like that. As Thomas Potter continues to maintain 2nd position, but yeah, Lewis Stannard's checked out down the road here. Said we were probably going to get another chat with him. Very, very difficult to imagine Lewis from that pole position making a hash of it. Having said that, he might still have a problem, but we haven't seen him do anything like that in any of the races we've had so far. But now it's Potter and Carroll, 2 VRRC veterans that are dicing it out. It's almost like Mackenzie Taylor's having a bit of a break. Here they come up the hill and still fighting it out. It is Andy Carroll round the outside. Thomas Potter has to straight line it a little bit. So too does Andy Carroll, and they both wallop the tyres on the exit, and that's going to move Mackenzie Taylor up into 2nd place. Now, has Thomas Potter been able to carry on? He's showing on the timing screen in 3rd, but that was very unfortunate, Ned.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I was going to say them coming in too wide with the Coopers and with the touring car. It doesn't tend to end well.
Well, what has ended well is Alex Solly coming up into 3rd place, and James Black, who's gone back to his he won't mind me saying this, he said that he's not normally very good at qualifying, but James Black is up into 4th, so James Black's race pace has done very well. And yeah, we had a couple of cars go off, but you've still got to be there, still got to finish, which is exactly what Alex Solly and James Black are doing, with 3 minutes 31 on the clock remaining. And now we look at Andy Dorman and Paul Laramie, who are down behind Andy Carroll. There is Andy, just going out of shot, managed to survive that. And Thomas was wondering why I was saying to have a word with about the sponsors there. Sometimes you get a feeling. It was good to get the sponsor thank you out of the way first, in case you don't get another podium, because you rue the chance afterwards. Now Paul Laramie's back up in some decent points here. Andy Dorman, championship leader, Ned, 6th position's not going to be a bad haul for him.
No, definitely not. And I think with the reverse as well, he'll have a decent place to start.
but yeah, he'll obviously get a good amount of points here, and he's avoided some carnage.
That is very often the trick in real world and virtual racing, isn't it? Getting through the traffic, getting through the debris sometimes. Lewis Stannard hasn't had to worry about that in this one. He will do in the reverse grid race, and I'm sure we're going to see another one of his classic, not take it easy, but one of his thoughtful drives through the field. He's been, I don't like making the comparison with Alain Prost, but who was known as the professor in Formula One, but he does really seem to know that he has to really... There's James Black, our first look at James Black in this race, and he is up into 4th position, James Black, and following Alex Solly. So Alex back up onto the podium and looking for, what's it going to be, a 3rd podium of the year for Alex Solly, unless James Black could get him. James is usually pretty quick around here as well. But this isn't finished yet, but I say it isn't finished yet, but it nearly is because we've got less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think at any other track, like I've said before, you know, this gap would seem quite large, but here the slipstream's so strong that he could be right up against him at the next corner, as it seems to be happening right now.
Yeah, spot on, Ned, for sure. James Black really putting the pressure on. Through the chicane they go. That again is a terrific place to watch the racing. There's plenty of catch fencing and a few gaps in the fence where you can take pictures if you're a keen photographer. Get yourself registered and get yourself along for real racing there and use the great vantage point that's there. So Lewis Stannard, the leader. We've just seen Mackenzie Taylor go through in 2nd place, lonely 2nd place now, from Alex Solly in 3rd. James Black still trying to hunt him down as well. The lap times, as we've seen, around about 120, 122, something like that. So we're probably going to get one more lap after this one in our latest race here at Thruxton. And it is this battle for 3rd, which continues to enthrall us at the moment. And James Black getting much closer here. The Clive Empson car seems to be coming on song just at the right time. Loses a little bit of ground there, does James, trying to close up on Alex, who runs a little bit wide. I haven't looked at tyres, actually. Everybody seems to be running on the medium tyre. I didn't do that last week as well. Solly really under pressure now, and James Black looks on the inside and makes it through side by side. They go. Wonderful move there by James Black. He's going to be on the outside for the Brooklands curve, but that could set him up for the inside run as they now come up into the chicane for the penultimate time, and James Black timed that absolutely superbly. Alex Solly's going to be gutted to be down into 3rd, but they clash as well, and James Black, is he going to... No, he managed to avoid the tyres, but that little touch between the two cars just sent him wobbly enough to drop down to 4th. How is that one going to be looked at?
Yeah, very lucky that it didn't end up like the accident just before, going too wide into the chicane. So, yeah, I think he got away lightly, even though he dropped back a bit there.
Well, time is up on the race, and that means that Lewis Stannard, now on his last lap, has got a very good lead over Mackenzie Taylor. So, Mackenzie Taylor looks like he's going to get his first podium. I think our first chat of the season with Mackenzie as well, which is going to be good. He's certainly turned it around in qualifying. His best result was 10th in the first event that we had at Donington Park. So good qualifying today, just off the qualifying podium and up into P2 as we watch Lewis Stannard heading for another victory. And it's been a super race from Lewis. Here he comes then around Brooklands up towards the club chicane for the very last time. He'll look back in his virtual mirror and see Mackenzie Taylor a fair way behind after all the shenanigans that went on for 2nd and 3rd place, or 3rd and 4th place we probably should say. And there is Lewis Stannard, takes the race win here at Thruxton. Well done, Lewis. Mackenzie Taylor not too far behind, exits in front of the crowd. In real life there'd be very polite applause there, as I said earlier on. Across the line goes Mackenzie for 2nd place. Alex Solly gets back on the podium. Alex is third podium of the year. James Black in 4th place. And Andy Carroll 5th, so a good run, a recovery from Andy Dorman. Paul Laramie 7th from Kenny Press. Kevin Yap will come home in 9th. Callum Enstone will have pole position for race 2 with Kevin Yap for company alongside. William Yap comes home in 11th place. Here is Kevin now just coming across the line in 9th position. Callum Enstone will be next up. And let's go back to our positions. Murray Richardson behind Will Yap. There is Callum Enstone coming through. It's after Murray Richardson, Lee Pearcey, Thomas Potter 14th, from Chris McKenzie in 15th after a really good strong run in the top 10 early doors. Will Crooks in 16th and Will Clark in 17th position. And we'll have a word with our top three in just a moment. So our interviews with the top three. Sorry, taking a breather there. We needed it after that race. That was pretty frenetic and really good on the interviews. Always great to chat to someone for the first time on the VRRC Mini Challenge Official E-Series. And well done, Mackenzie Taylor, third place. Great to have you on the podium. Maybe wasn't expecting a podium, but sometimes it goes like that in racing, doesn't it? Oh, beg your pardon. Sorry. Yeah, written that one down wrong. Alex Solly, beg your pardon, Alex. After the weekend, you've had a good way to start again.
Yeah, it's just a run of the race one on this thing, isn't it? Yeah, I've done no laps on this, so I have no idea how I got a third, to be totally honest with you. But yeah, we'll take that. I think it's just racecraft has come out from the experience, so that's probably how we've got up there.
And is it difficult this time of year, sort of juggling? Well, we've tried to sort of put the mini dates around the break in the schedule, but we're kind of back into it now, aren't we? And does it give you a little bit of relief after the weekend you've had, or is it hard work, sort of doing a little bit of both?
No, like I say, I've done 0 laps around here, so the full focus is on the actual season. It's, as you know, it's really tight now, so turnaround times are pretty hard to come by. So I've been pretty flat out working on my car, getting it ready for Knockhill. So yeah, so we got a bit lucky with this one, I think.
It's quite an early start normally, isn't it, to go up to Knockhill, which I think is why we're missing a weekend, missing a round next week. When do you actually go up?
I'm going up, I believe, Monday. We got a week up there, but yeah, it's nice that everything's been mixed and matched around so it suits us, so we can still do this E-Series, which is quite nice.
That's good. That's good. And I can't remember where you qualified in that one. Were you away down?
Yeah, 9th, I think it was. I'm not sure how them top boys are doing them laps, so I'll give it to them. But we managed to pull it out of the bag, I think, a little bit. There's a lot of tyre management going on there, so I don't know if that's just what got us that podium.
It could be. Thomas Potter seemed to go a little bit wilder as the race went on. I mean, he was holding a good second position and then had a couple of wide moments going off. Yourself and James Black, though, both very close to each other in terms of the championship. James 6th at the moment, you're 7th. So it's interesting to see that you're pretty close on circuit as well.
Yeah, obviously I'm really good mates with James, so it's quite nice to be racing on the sim as normal. But we normally do our little sim sessions together, but
right,
yeah, doing it in an actual series is quite good fun. So I saw him coming in the end, but I was trying to keep my tyres last until the end, which I think I might have just had the edge on that last couple bits. But he did go for a couple moves, which is I know where he's going to go. I'm used to it.
In terms of the reverse grid race, does it take more wear out of the tyres if you are starting at the back of that front group?
I suppose it's a bit more a bit like real life. When you're trying to come through the pack, you do take a lot of effort out your tyres, really. So I can imagine it's going to be a little bit worse than that. But I think just pick our moments really and try and prolong it as much as we can. That's the best anyone can do, really.
Yeah. Without wanting to harp on about the weekend, I read on your social media you were looking for a reset at Croft, but you have to reset for Knock Hill now. But that sometimes happens, doesn't it, in racing?
Yeah, I mean, I think we was in quite a good mindset. Everything sort of went to plan this time round. It's just a shame what's happened, but on some parts it was my doing. Some parts it was just racing incidents. You know, it's motorsport. End of the day, things happen. So I think we've definitely got the pace now, and we found a nice balance. Worked quite well with the team. So hopefully, Knock Hill's a bit more consistent and something good to come by.
We certainly wish you well up there. We won't speak to you again after we might do this evening if you get onto the podium in the other races, but this is the last chance we get to talk to you before Knock Hill and our finale Brands Hatch. But really good to have a Napa car and you, Alex, on the podium, so well done on P3.
Oh, thank you again.
Thanks very much, and apologies for calling out the name. I've written down the wrong order. Absolutely useless, as always. But we'll get to Mackenzie Taylor eventually with P2. Mackenzie, how are things?
Yeah, I mean, it was really unexpected. Same as Alex, really. I've only jumped on like an hour before the qualifying. And then in qualifying, the pace came out of nowhere. So I was quite happy with that. And then, yeah, the race was eventful. It was a good race at the start. And, you know, it's not ideal, really, what happened to Andy and Thomas. But, yeah, from then it was quite good.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen. You've got to be there. We've seen it on so many of the other rounds. Qualifying, as I say, absolutely great to have that revelation from you. We missed you the last couple of rounds, so hope all's been well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a challenge for me, you know, in the real life, you know, trying to get back out in the Coopers. Unfortunately, losing my sponsorship at the start of the year, so it's been quite a challenge to try and gain the funding to get back at 2026 and give it a good hit.
We look forward to that. Hope you can get out. It's just so tough all round at the minute. There's some championships, I think, on the budget end, and I'm not talking minis. I'm talking sort of in supporting club racing are doing okay. But yeah, I'm just hearing so many problems. And what about absence on the? Is it that you've been working, because we haven't seen you since the Oulton Park round on the E series? Have you been away working on trying to sort of put deals together, or just fancied a break from the E series?
Oh no, most definitely. I've been trying to, get back in, try and gain that funding for the 2026 season. It's really difficult because obviously we're midway through the season. Most of the funding for companies have been out now, so it's looking like we're gonna have to regroup ourselves for 2026 and try and give it a good hit in the new year.
Well, I hope people are watching and realise now what you can do. So if anybody is watching, Mackenzie Taylor, second position in this race, best performance of the season, but never been that far away from it, to be perfectly honest, because you had a fourth last time out at Oulton, so really getting some traction with the championship, which is good to see. But a reverse grid race to deal with now.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, I've got the good result now, but it's not going to stop me from pushing on, try and get through the pack, and we know that we've got the pace, so we'll give it a good go. Nice
one, Mackenzie. Great to talk to you at long last on the podium. Very well deserved. No luck in it at all, mate. You were there, picked up the bits, and fingers crossed we'll get to see you on the podium again very soon, maybe in race 2.
Yeah, maybe. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Mackenzie Taylor, and we go to our winner. Second chance to talk to our winner of the evening, Lewis Stannard. Lewis, well, early doors, Thomas was giving you a bit of a workout. It looked to me like maybe his tyres were going off. He had a couple of offs, dropped away. And then, I don't know what you saw or what was going on, but you built a lead. He was threatening you, but it never looked a huge threat, if that's not being rude to him.
I mean, to be honest, it was really, really hard at the start, because obviously what Rich said in the briefing, kind of changed, I think, everyone's perspective of what is track limits and what isn't, and you've got to be really careful. So I think people, I wouldn't say backing off slightly, but I'd say definitely, making sure that they're not going over that track limit. So yeah, me and Thomas we weren't really fighting. He was kind of just there, and it was really annoying me. But yeah, I think he made a couple mistakes. He dropped back a little bit into, was it Mackenzie and Andy? Whoever was
Andy Carroll,
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he kind of dropped back to them, and then I'm like, they're gonna start fighting. This is my time to just go. So that's what I did. So yeah, built up a little gap. Not really sure what happened, but there must have been a crash or something because Andy and Thomas were gone. So
yeah, a clash going in the middle of the chicane, trying to go in too wide. So I think Andy got some points out of it, but Thomas didn't. We're rapidly heading up to the next race. You okay for one quick one? Again, are we going to see the trademark Lewis Stannard sort of start, sit back, watch, and take the opportunities when they come?
Yeah, definitely. Just sensibly, you know, picking them off one by one. This is definitely a track where not everyone's going to be fast, but no one's really going to be that slow. So it's going to be all about toes and slipstream and just making moves at the right time safely and not, you know, getting incidents, because I've been getting my incidents normally in race 2s, which is something I've, you know, looked at, reviewed, and hopefully I can put into action in this race. But yeah, just going for points, trying to get the championship lead higher and just getting all the points I can ready for Brands.
Nice one. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to jump in there and say very well done, Lewis. Great race. And good luck for race 2. We've only got about 23 seconds to go. So that's our podium interviews. Apologies for the order. That's what happens when you're looking at too many screens and in a hurry to talk to the first-time podium sitter, Mackenzie Taylor there. So apologies for Alex Solly for not getting him in the right order. There's our grid, and we've got on pole position Callum Enstone, last week's driver of the round, and alongside him is Kevin Yap. So we've got Napa livery up on the top as well. Third position on the grid is Kenny Press. Fourth, and starting very well indeed, and passing Kevin Yap, is Paul Laramie, who goes up into third place around the outside. So a good start, the Automac car, looking to try and get into P2 now as they head up towards the complex for the first time. This is where we may get a little bit of a sort out, Ned. It gets a little bit wild, and it's almost, I think, I don't know, oh, there's the sort out. So Paul Laramie, Paul Laramie, I think it was, that disappeared, down the order. Lewis Stannard is, according to the timing screen, picks his way up to 5th already.
That's very well done. I suppose he's taking advantage of a bit of carnage back there and putting some pace anyway.
Yeah, this is looking very good for him as we head back and pick up Lee Piercy in 9th. Lee's got into the top 10. It's always a benchmark to have a look at. It's got Alex Solly down behind him as well. Good to see Alex back on the podium and running well. But here is the battle for the lead. Callum Enstone coming under pressure from Kenny Press, who goes through on the inside. Andy Dorman is in 3rd, so we might well see an Andy Dorman Lewis Stannard battle in the next couple of laps as well. But they've got Andy Carroll between them. So Andy Carroll, as we saw in race number 1, not going to be an easy driver to pass. Lewis Stannard now up into 4th place ahead of Andy Carroll. Having said it wasn't going to be easy, we've got a car up and over, I think, in the background, in the back, which was Kenny Press. That would be red flags normally. That's one thing we don't facilitate on VRRC, which is lengthy delays. So we will race on, but very sad. That's a shame for Kenny. He was running strongly there, but Callum Enstone now, our race leader from Andy Dorman. So championship leader coming into the round, Andy Dorman up ahead of, I think, championship leader now, Lewis Stannard.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the carnage has started to settle down. I don't want to speak too soon, and hopefully nothing happens. But as they all settle into their positions now, they'll start thinking about, you know, defending as much as going forward.
So first-year driver, Ned, and you're maybe, or you'll be a second-year driver next year when you come back to Thruxton, assuming that you can get back and sort everything out and come back for another season, which we hope. I won't push you on that. Actually, I'll come back to that because we've got a challenge on for the lead, and Andy Dorman goes back, goes into the front there. Callum Enstone down into P2. Callum having led well. He's got Lewis Stannard right behind him as well. Stannard wants to have a straight fight here with the championship leader from last time out, Andy Dorman. So it is now Dorman from Stannard, Enstone in 3rd place. Andy Carroll wants to join in as well. Then behind them, Mackenzie Taylor's come through as well. Mackenzie having a terrific run as well. Such a shame to hear about Mackenzie's budget problems. Obviously, we heard the same at the weekend from Albert Webster. I'm just hoping that those guys get some support to get them out on track, because we love seeing them for real. Some really good characters. Nice having them on the E-Series, either as commentary as Albert did, or indeed on track as we've got Mackenzie doing at the moment. Mackenzie up to 3rd, though gets past Callum Enstone. James Black you can see coming through as well. So James Black now up into 5th. Andy Carroll down to 6, and I'm guessing still wrestling with his problems because he wouldn't have had too much time to try and sort things out between races 1 and 2. So it's Dorman from Stannard for the lead. I'll have to try and remember the point I was going to ask Ned about here, but we'll focus on the battle for now. And this is always what you want to see, isn't it? We kind of did in the JCWs with the two guys at the front in race 2. It's something we've been looking and hoping to see all season. You know, with Jamie and Nathan going head to head, we hadn't seen that so far, so it was a really good opportunity to see them two together, and this is great, isn't it? Andy Dorman and Lewis Stannard, this is the equivalent of those two from the weekend. Jamie Osborne and Nathan Edwards fighting it out, and we've got the equivalent here in the virtual series with Andy and Lewis fighting it out here through the chicane.
Yeah, it does seem that way, and hopefully the quality of driving is the same as well. Hopefully no, spiteful taps or anything. James, just wanted to say, James Black has done quite well to get where he is now.
Yeah, he has, isn't he? Up into 4th, and great stuff there from Mackenzie Taylor going through. This could be good for Andy Dorman, and could be good for Lewis Stannard, who tries to go up the inside. Was there a little clash there? Yep, there was. Only a small one, about 2 miles an hour clash, so not a huge one, but the Clarks will no doubt have a look at all of the ones. I don't think there was anything untoward there, do you?
Oh, I don't think so. I think with this circuit and with such twitchy cars, it's so easy to just, bounce a little bit, come off of a curb and go into the side of someone, but you never know. There could have been a bit of planning there and trying to cover it up with the way that the car handles.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So Andy Dorman out front, Mackenzie Taylor now in P2. And Lewis Stannard, I think, was probably, not arrogantly, expecting a chance to have a go at Andy Dorman for the lead. And Mackenzie Taylor is podium hungry now, having got one in race 1. And again, it's fascinating to see Mackenzie Taylor, albeit with no ballast, but showing the pace that we know he has in real life as we flick back and pick up on Lee Pearcey and Chris Mackenzie racing. Chris has got himself into the top 10 again in early doors, which is great to see. So Chris will know that he has got the pace to run very well inside the top 10 of these races. Mackenzie Taylor now sets the fastest lap as well, but coming under big pressure here from Lewis Stannard, who has got to work to get to the front here to try and get past Mackenzie. What he'll probably be thinking is, if he gets past once, he'll know that Mackenzie has already been capable of getting past him. So it is proper pucker racing here, pass and repass.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the thing with Thruxton, isn't it? I think by the end of this race, Andy might be in 4th, or James might be in 1st. So you never can tell.
You can't. Coopers at Thruxton are always great racing. So Mackenzie Taylor now coming under, putting pressure on the race leader, Andy Dorman. They're side by side. Lewis Stannard will read this as well. Goes on the grass, rejoins. I tell you what, that was precision driving from Stannard when he came back on. I thought he was going to go into the side. I don't think he went into the side of the car that was alongside him. Oh, we do get a little bit of it was a slight touch with Andy Dorman reported on the timing screen as they now come up Woodham Hill once again, and with his nose in front, it's Mackenzie Taylor, and Lewis Stannard has read all of that well to wind up with the inside run as they come into the chicane. Is he going to be able to grab the lead? They're side by side. Riding the curb there is Mackenzie Taylor down in P2, but it's Stannard who will come through from 3rd position. Exactly, Ned, as you said, it can all change around. Callum Enstone is running superbly here and has come through in 4th place from Andy Dorman. So Dorman's dropped down to 5th. Andy Carroll is next up behind Callum. Then it's Lee Pearcey, Alex Solly, Thomas Potter regrouping and is in 9th place. William Yap now up into the top 10 ahead of Kevin Yap. So yeah, all changed, but Lewis Stannard has floated up to the top again.
Yeah, it's all getting very mixed around at this point. Still got 22 minutes to go, but I think some of these people out here, well, they may be aiming for a bit higher, but if they settle for where they are, keep their eyes out of the mirrors and just keep sort of pushing forward, it's anyone's win.
It is. I wonder how much more chicane shenanigans we are going to have here.
Well, yeah.
At Thruxton
exactly that. Yeah.
before the end of the race. But Lewis, and a big off there. dropping down the order. I couldn't quite see who that was. I think it was some blue in the car. Didn't catch that on the screen as I was busy looking at driver of the round messages which are coming through. Grateful thanks to everyone on the team for contributing to that. And we've got quite a few drivers that could well be in the mix for that. But it's Stannard from James Black now. It's going to be interesting to see whether James can close in on Lewis Stannard. Mackenzie Taylor, of course, write him off at your peril. He is running very, very strongly indeed in third place. Now, will they work together? That's the question. Andy Carroll back in fourth. Andy Dorman fifth. Thomas Potter now up into sixth place. Thomas is one of those drivers, Ned, that he... And I say this a lot on the VRRC broadcast. First sort of got the winning habit through the reverse grid races. And as soon as he won one, he was then sort of adding that to the quick qualifying. He was developing his qualifying, started putting quick laps together then, and was winning off the front. And he can pretty much do the whole thing now. He can lead off the front and defend well, but he's also very good at coming back.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, after a while, you get a bit of success, and you probably have an increased amount of confidence. And even in the sim world, I think that will probably affect the way you drive in the future. And clearly, from what you said, I guess that's what's happened to Thomas.
That was Andy Dorman doing doing what Thomas did in the first race. They're running a little bit wide, not as wide actually as Thomas, so maybe he hasn't had the coaching for Thomas about running wide there. But Thomas now in fifth place. Alex Solly goes up into sixth. So another great run from Alex Solly here. Could be another driver putting himself in line for potential driver of the round, Alex Solly, but it's Lewis Stannard out front. 7/10 down is James Black. Mackenzie Taylor is next up. There's your top three going through shot. There is Mackenzie Taylor in third place with Andy Carroll in fourth. Andy Carroll a potential for driver of the day with the problems that he's had as well. So into the complex they will go again. Exit the complex. If you've ever been to a truck meeting here at Thruxton, the second commentary box is sort of way back just out of that previous shot that we had. It's a shed on stilts, basically. It sounds like a weird description, but back in the day when we used to co-commentate on the truck racing championship here, they would leave you in the box. The marshals would retreat about 50 feet behind you and leave you in this shed on stilts. And those of you who've seen truck racing will know that the trucks can clear the fences at Thruxton. So it did make one feel a little bit vulnerable in the commentary box, but.
It sounds like they left you in the firing line a bit there.
Yeah, they pretty much did, but they've since changed that. I was talking to one of the commentators, Josh Barrett, who's on with Toka now on the circuit commentary, and Josh was saying actually they don't let the commentators stay in that box 2 now for trucks because it is a health and safety risk. So it's probably a good shout. Anyway, enough of
a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing indeed. Thomas Potter with fastest lap as he crosses the line and goes up into fourth place at the expense of Andy Carroll. So Thomas Potter gunning for a podium here. Can Thomas Potter close on Mackenzie Taylor and James Black? That's the question we're all going to be asking now. Lewis Stannard, the gap between Stannard and Black is not going out. James Black's doing a grand job. Mackenzie Taylor in third place. He's not that far behind him as well.
No, I think Thomas Potter's done a very good job there, and as you were saying, he crossed the line and immediately went up another position. So from where I think he's gone up 11 or 12 places now. So that's a very good effort.
I'm going to come back whilst things are relatively settled. And I do like when we get in the races to our sort of general questions. And have you been in the reversed grid section of a JCW race yet?
No, I haven't, unfortunately. yet to be quite that successful. Luckily, I've finished top 10 and top 6 for race 2 actually at Oulton, but no, never in the position to do reverse.
How would you feel if you drew out P1 or it wound up that you were P1 at Knockhill? How would that feel?
Well, I mean, if it's your first, well, it would be my first time, so I think there'd be a lot of pressure there. But whilst you got to make sure you're not going to cause any accidents from closing the door too abruptly, you've still got to keep your eyes forward and focus on your own race. If someone's coming past, at this level of racing, they're probably going to come past.
Sorry to cut across there. Lewis Stannard has a big moment coming up into the complex, loses out down into fourth place. Was that pressure? We've got James Black out front now, and I'll come back to what we were talking about in a moment, Ned, because it's an interesting train of thought that we need to go on. But James Black through, and Lewis Stannard was all sideways, but significantly keeps it on the track, and he's in 4th place. So really good recovery from Lewis. It's very often how you deal with mistakes that can win championship titles. He won't be happy with what happened, but he will be happy to be ahead of Andy Dorman. But now we've got James Black, and I think you were calling out James Black as one to watch here, as with Thomas Potter, who's just gone into P2.
I mean, yeah, I think James and Thomas are doing very well here. I wasn't expecting Thomas to come up to the front of the grid this quickly. I mean, we've still got 16 minutes to go, so just about halfway, and he's already up into well, he's dropped back down to 3rd now, and back up to 2nd, but he's already up at the top of the grid. So yeah, very well done.
Sometimes there's nothing like bad luck, is there, to fire somebody up, and Thomas was riding the curbs there. Yee-haw, cowboy, that was, as he went through over the curbs. Thomas still in 2nd place, Lewis Stannard in 3rd. We're going to get, I'll tell you what, these battles keep coming good, and you know, we've got the Potter Stannard battle about to possibly happen. Andy Carroll wants to get in the mix as well. The other thing I really love about the virtual racing is that you get the big tyre scuffs or Catherine wheels on the sides of the car from where they've had the rubbing.
Yeah, it's quite nice to see that, actually. I was just thinking that it does look quite realistic. It's a nice feature.
It's amazing the level of detail that the games have now, and the circuits are absolutely spot on. As we just dip down and see Lee Pearcey and Paul Laramie continuing to have a good dice. Lee in the light blue car, one of our regular front runners with the VRRC, and it's good to see Lee joining us in this championship. I think he missed the first round if memory serves correctly, as we watch Will Yap. I'll tell you what, Will Yap could be in line for driver of the day as well, because he's up to 6th position at the moment, coming under pressure from a recovering Andy Dorman. So Will's had a really good race. He was behind Kevin Yap earlier on. He's been demoted as I said that. As soon as I start saying nice things about people, they get overtaken, which is not fair. But he's going to return the favour and try and get back in as we go back to Andy Carroll and Mackenzie Taylor, who renew their battle in this one. It's Carroll who is ahead at the moment in 4th place, trying to chase down Lewis Stannard, who again will take the points for 3rd, I think, here. Lewis Stannard in 3rd place. I was going to come back to the thing about putting you on pressure, and you know, when you get your reverse pole, or maybe a pole position from qualifying at some stage. In terms of coaching, do you have a driver coach at Amigo? Is it Rob, or do they bring anybody else in to help you with that kind of stuff?
Well, we've had well, before the season started, we had Harry Higdon come in and help. You know, he's a very experienced guy, and you know, even though we're now in the same championship, he has a lot of information to feed back on. But I think now is a bit of a not an enemy, but competition. I don't think that's going to happen again. He's a good friend as well. But
the advice is stay behind me, Ned. Now, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly that. You know, whilst he is a good friend, he's still a competitor. So I don't think it would be fair on either of us to really to go back to him. But yeah, with Rob's experience in Ginetta, and you know, he almost had a break at touring car. He's giving me all the information he can. But for these cars, they are quite different. So
yeah.
We'll be looking at getting someone who's driven these before.
Nice one. There's Will Crooks in number 10, in 10th position, not number 10, in 10th position. And Will trying to close down on Paul Laramie. Had the first proper chat with Will. I apologise for not doing that earlier in the season, Will Crooks, but he's having a good run here and about to pass one of our regular VRRC race winners. So Will Crooks, the man from Whitby, trying to go down the inside, couldn't quite do it. Maybe momentarily had his nose in front of Paul Laramie. He's having a good race, and again, you know, Will, a possibility here. Top 10 pace is great to see. Another contender for driver of the round here if he can maintain top 10. We've got so many different choices to look at, and I'm sure everybody will continue to feed animated GIFs or otherwise into the chat to let us know what their thoughts are on driver of the round. But some really interesting quotes coming through as Thomas Potter continues in 2nd position. James Black, the race leader. We've got 12 minutes to go, so just over halfway through anti-penultimate race of the championship. That's the only big word you're going to get out of me over the entire 7 rounds. As they come up Woodham Hill once again, Thomas Potter trying to close down on James Black with Lewis Stannard doing what he does best, going fast, maybe just watching the top 2 and maybe having a sixth sense about whether there'll be a clash between these two. You never ever know. Lewis will be quite happy with the 3rd place points here, I'm betting. He'd love the win, don't get me wrong, he'd love the win. particularly so. And there is Thomas Potter going off on the grass, trying to close down on James Black. And did he gain extra momentum out of that or not? Well, I'll tell you who did close up on him, and that is Lewis Stannard, who will now see the chance to go one-on-one without a multi-car involvement of a scrap with Thomas Potter. And I'm guessing for Lewis Stannard, it's much more straightforward, isn't it? Racing one car than a pair in front of you.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, whilst with some overtakes, 2 cars can come past. When you're attacking, 1 car is far easier. Maybe not with the slipstream if he wants to catch up to James Black, but yeah, it'll be definitely be an easier job when he's on the attack.
Now, Lewis is very, very definitely on the attack. I think had a couple of wheels on the grass there. Got to be brave to do that at Thruxton. I don't know whether Lewis has raced it. I'm guessing he will have raced at Thruxton in JSCC, and I can't remember if I asked him that question last week. But obviously, with Thruxton being the home of the VRRC and the Junior Saloons being part of the VRRC, and what a major amount of drivers they've brought through over the years. And quality drivers as well, you have to say. I'd imagine that he probably has had a few laps here. But James Black, the leader. Thomas Potter in P2. And Thomas back on the case now. Lewis Stannard dropping into the clutches of Andy Carroll. Mackenzie Taylor, again, impressive in 5th. Andy Dorman 6th. William Yap passes Lee Piercy, who's dropping back. That's a shame for Lee Piercy. Great for William Yap, up into 7th, having a really good race here. Paul Laramie 8th. Will Crooks in 9th now. He's gone past. Lee Piercy has gone in the pit and into retirement. So Will Crooks, going back to the point I made earlier, lovely to see him in the top 10, having a really good run, and he was dicing with Paul Laramie and still in relatively close proximity, as Thomas Potter is to our race leader James Black. We've seen James work his way through the field. Now we're going to have to see him see what his defensive mettle is as well.
Yeah, he's definitely closed that gap quite a lot, even after a bit of action. A couple last lap, I think it was. James Black would definitely be in his mirrors, but he needs to focus on ahead and just try and keep the pace up.
Lewis Stannard just close enough to worry them at the moment, as we watch Paul Laramie closing down on William Yap. This is for 7th place. William doing a super job here. Lovely to see new names up inside. Well, we've seen Will Yap up in the top 10 earlier on in the season, but great to see him there again. And Will Crooks in there, and Will Clark coming into the top 10 as well, which is great to see. Paul Laramie's going to try the outside run, which is very brave coming into the chicane. Can't quite do it, but he'll maybe try and straighten the line out and grab a bit of momentum to have a go around Allard. So from Allard to Stannard we go now, and it's for the race lead at the moment, with James Black under pressure from 3 cars, which I guess is better than being under pressure from just the one, because it means that the cars behind him have got to maybe look in their mirrors as well, as we do, back at the orange front of Andy Carroll in P4 from the 3rd place car, as we look ahead at Thomas Potter in 2nd. I know Thomas isn't usually too worried about his mirrors, which I always remember Lee Caroline telling me he never ever looked in his mirrors when he was driving, and he was highly successful in Ginetta Junior, in F4, where he beat the current World Championship Formula 1 leader to the title. They were in different teams, to be fair, when we look back, but there's absolutely no questioning talent of Lee Caroline and the advice that he gives young drivers. There's a coach for you, actually, if you want to get a coach, Ned.
I'll remember the name. I'll make sure to give him a message.
Stannard up into 2nd now, past Thomas Potter. As we go, yeah, if you want me to put you in touch, I can. I'm not sure who's coaching at the moment, but I would love to see Lee Caroline coming to BTCC. It really would be a massive coup for the championship to get him in and get him in a decent car. Same as Senna Proctor. Those two actually tied on points in Ginetta Junior, believe it or not, when they were in that championship. And Senna doing good things to get his car up onto the podium at Croft at the weekend. As Andy Carroll now snapping at the heels of Lewis Stannard for 3rd place. James Black still the leader. James Black here has been good. And again, perhaps another driver in good consideration here for driver of the round, soaking up the pressure so far. That'll probably be the curse of the commentator on him now, I've said that.
Well, yeah, you say that a lot, to be fair, but you know, racing is racing. So if anything happens, it always happens to be when you've said something about that person. But it's up to them at the end of the day what they do on track.
It is. William Yap's doing a grand job here as well. Again, a little bit of a difficult decision for driver of the round. It is a collective decision that we take. There seems to be a little bit of a consensus at the moment, which is good. We'll see how the race pans out, and we'll see how this pans out now as Paul Laramie tries to get past William Yap again, and they are really trading places, as you can see from the timing tower. 1 minute it's William, the next minute it's Paul. They're still side by side. William Yap's on the outside, having a super run, and just chops across here, trying to grab the line as they come up Woodham Hill again, with Paul Laramie now on the outside run. You can see with the tyre marks on the side of the car, they've been in some very good close racing now, locking up as they come into and out of the chicane here at Virtual Thruxton, and we'll cross the line again. Quick check on the timing, 6 minutes 26 to go. This has been virtually 4 or 5 laps between these two. They're going to be fatigued at the end of this.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I'm feeling a bit tired just sat here watching it, so can't imagine what they're feeling like.
I think it's my commentary grinding you down, to be absolutely honest. What's the most tiring track that you raced?
Or what, in real life or on a...
Yeah, real life.
Oof. I'd say probably Donington, because we didn't have any power steering.
Oh yeah, that would, yeah.
I mean, the C1s are quite tiring. You have over an hour or plus in the car, and you have the heaters all the way up, so it's not a very pleasant experience, but it's still fun.
The C1s have to be MOT, don't they?
Yeah, quite a lot of people actually drive them home. As we're watching William Yap go off, actually.
I thought Will was going to drive home then, but he's gone on the grass. I'll tell you what, I'm being flippant about him going on the grass, and apologies, William, for that, but it was really, really good defence and dice with Paul Laramie up to that point, and he's back on and still running in 8th place, so he's going to have Will Crooks chasing after him very shortly as well. Back to very quickly take stock of our leading drivers. James Black still there from Thomas Potter, Lewis Stannard as well. I'm wondering if Thomas is aware of Lewis, and he probably is, and I said he's not really, doesn't really get too worried. Andy Carroll having a good run. Mackenzie Taylor still in 5th place. Andy Dorman is up with them as well in 6th, and then Paul Laramie we saw just getting the better of that battle with William Yap to go up to 7th, but a little bit distant at the moment. But the top 3 with 4:47 on the clock. Do we think they're saving themselves up for the last couple of laps?
Well, I mean, at this point, I probably would be. I'd be thinking of a move I could make at the chicane or possibly into the complex. But I don't know. I think, well, they're looking pretty aggressive as they're going for the moves now.
Thomas is under pressure now. Yeah, there he goes. Thomas running a little bit wide, comes back on, and Lewis Stannard side by side with him. He's going to have the inside as they come up into the chicane. Thomas Potter will be hoping to try and cut through. I'll tell you what, there's no cut and thrust there from Lewis, was it? He just placed the car where he wanted to, but he's going to have to. Thomas straight lines the chicane. Now, was that an advantage? I'm not quite sure where he was when they went in. I think Lewis Stannard might have done enough to gone through because he was on the inside, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's got the place back anyway now.
Yeah, Thomas is, I think, giving it back.
Oh, I think the arrow is showing that he's still up alongside.
Yeah, he is. There he is. So Thomas coming back. So if he did see the place, he might then decide to get back stuck in as they come into the complex. Lovely bit of onboard there coming into the complex. So Thomas back into P2. Lewis Stannard is... Oh, and Thomas claps into him. There's a little bit of side-by-side action going on there. Thomas will have to regroup. Andy Carroll and Mackenzie Taylor will fancy getting involved with this, but this is very definitely taking the pressure off James Black out front with 3:24 to go. And James Black's got a bit of the Lewis Stannards about him at the moment, and James Black could find himself with another win, a third win in the can.
Yeah, he's got a nice gap now. I think the battling between Thomas and Lewis has really dragged them back towards 4th and 5th, which is no bad thing for James.
I think it's definitely tyres going off, isn't it, in the later stages of the race, that trying to hang on, and it definitely has affected Thomas Potter, and he was gunning in those early stages to make up the positions as James Black leads. And we watched the battle for second, and we've got some straight lining at the chicane again. It's Lewis Stannard this time that does it, goes back into second position, does Lewis Stannard. We're 2 minutes 37 on the clock, so this probably the penultimate lap of the race. James Black the race leader, Lewis Stannard in second. Thomas Potter is in third from Andy Carroll. Mackenzie Taylor, what a great day Mackenzie Taylor has had with a 5th position here, a podium in the previous race in P2. Andy Dorman, the championship leader, running real well, I've got to say, today. Hasn't been up on the podium, but really good points. And if he has to drop this round, I'm guessing this might be the one that Andy does. Although having said that, his worst round, he did an 8th and the 13th last week, a 9th and the 3rd at Oulton Park. So it's going to be nip and tuck as to which round he will drop. With 1:55 on the clock, and now Andy Carroll putting Thomas Potter under pressure. James Black still out front. Lewis Stannard's got a bit of breathing space over the Flying Teapot, and flying as well is Andy Carroll, starting to build momentum for this charge, maybe up Woodham Hill to get on the inside of Thomas Potter, who has the car on the track this time, but is going defensive. I said Thomas doesn't look at his mirrors, but he does there. He's definitely defending here, aware of Andy Carroll, and doing all that he can. A little bit of a clatter between the two cars as they come into the chicane, and Thomas will hold on to position, very nearly getting into the back of Lewis Stannard again.
Yeah, I think backing out of that one was the wise choice. You know, the two accidents we've had before in the chicane have just ended the race immediately. So, yeah, quite a wise choice there.
Mackenzie Taylor now dicing with Andy Carroll. So what was a scrap for third becomes a battle for fourth place with Thomas Potter in third. Been really impressed with all of our top 5 drivers over the course of the 2 races. Really, really great racing once again. It's going to set us up for a very interesting championship finale in 2 weeks' time. As we look back from Lewis Stannard, Thomas Potter is there in third. We know that these two have been practicing together, and now they race together. And here comes Potter closing up. Thomas is on for another podium interview, but is it going to be P3 or is it going to be P2? Clock is ticking down. James Black still out front from Lewis Stannard. The gap, as you can see, for the timing tower, 2.1 seconds.
Yeah, it's a nice healthy gap now. As long as he keeps it on the tarmac, I think he'll be all right.
Just noticed Harry Hickton's nearly got into the top 10. He's in 11th place at the moment, Harry Hickton. So closing down on Will Clark and Will Crook. So great to see that Harry is out there. Kevin Yap behind him. Zach Hancock, haven't mentioned much. Sorry, Zach, he's in 13th. From Chris McKenzie, 14th, had a quiet race here. Problems for Lee Piercy and Alex Solly. As across the line, it is James Black that takes the win. A third, second race victory of the campaign. Well done, James. James takes the win. Lewis Stannard is in second position. Thomas Potter takes third. Mackenzie Taylor in fourth. Andy Carroll in fifth place from Andy Dorman. Paul Laramie is in 7th. Will Crooks will take 8th place. Top 10 completed by Will Crooks in 9th. Will Clark in 10th place. Harry Hickton in 11th. 12th goes to Kevin Yap. 13th, Zach Hancock. Then Chris McKenzie 14th from Lee Piercy and Alex Solly. So they are your runners. We will have a chat with our top 3 in just a couple of moments. Right, onto our virtual podium. Sometimes you'll hear the tail end of a conversation. Jeremy Clarkson does that, doesn't he? On Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We'll make a little comment as we go. That's what we're doing, if you ever do hear us chatting away when we come back. So, podium interviews, and going to go to third place, Thomas Potter. You get another chance to mention sponsors. You never know, though, do you? Whether you're going to get that second go. Let's talk about the race, though. And we'll go back to race 1 first of all. What's your view on what happened in race 1?
Me and Andy just didn't want to back out. Me, that's what racing drivers do. To be honest, I wouldn't change it even if I had the chance. I'd rather know that I went for the move and that I, tried my hardest to keep the place. So I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't even think twice about changing it. I'd just keep it how it was.
I think the Genesis Spares people, if they're watching this, they're going to be rubbing their hands together, mate. But on a serious note, I shouldn't really be flippant, but on a serious note, well done, P3. And Ned Anthony, commentating with me today, spotted you very quickly coming up the order in the early stages. A little bit really like Lewis did. You made a lot of progress in those early laps and then continued to build on it.
That was a drive of my life. I was good, but I couldn't get win. If I could just get past James, I reckon I had enough pace to pull away until, I knew the final 5 minutes my tyres were going to die. I was I got through everyone on lap 1 and I just got clipped and lost it all. So back down to dead last again, but managed to just fight my way through and come back for a third, which could have definitely been a first, but to be honest, I think anyone in that top 5 could have had a win in that one.
How much do you think the battle between you and Lewis, sort of allowed James to get away in the closing stages?
Yeah, absolutely. But I was like, I'm not gonna lose a place to maybe. I was like, in my head, I was just thinking I just want as much place as possible. But probably not the best decision. But yeah, again, I still wouldn't change it because I tried my hardest. And I think if I didn't push as fast, as hard early on, I reckon I could have had more pace at the end to keep up with them. But yeah. Still wouldn't change it.
Nice one. That's what I like to hear. Driver committed to what happened there. Any closing thoughts, Thomas, before we sign off and go to P2? And for you, it'll be heading to Brands Hatch GP.
Just a massive thanks to my partners again, James and Kate. I know you're watching this one, so that was a nice drive for you to watch, keep you entertained, and huge thanks just all my partners as well as from Neville from a Driven Net who invited me down on Friday. That was the best day of my life. To be honest, I had so much fun as well as getting to meet everyone as well. Also, big thanks to Will Crooks and Chris McKenzie for showing me around their mini challenge sport cars, and as well as Will Crooks for giving me a track walk around Croft, which meant so much to me, and I'm so glad that I could have helped him tonight as well as Chris tonight. I'm so glad I could help him. It meant so much to me.
Absolutely brilliant. It means a lot to us that you're helping those guys as well. Is your granddad okay still?
Yeah, he's getting better, and he couldn't come down tonight, so I'm going to say that's why what happened in race 1, I didn't have my custard.
All right, well, we wish you and your granddad all the very best and much custard for the next 2 weeks before we see you again.
Thank you.
So Thomas Potter will be in custody very soon. Very bad joke there. Dad jokes, not good. Paul O'Neill always tells me off of that. So we'll leave the jokes, the dad jokes, and go to P2. Lewis Stannard, very good. Solid championship points. Could have been a win, but the battle with Thomas maybe took you away from the chance of getting to race James Black. But you go on to 428 points. Back in the championship lead. Andy Dorman second still, but on 394, so a good gap heading to Brands.
Yeah, it's definitely a very good run for championship points. A little bit annoyed with myself because, I was in the lead. I didn't have a gap because, honestly, the toe is just stupid around there. But yeah. Very could have been a good win, but just clipped the grass with my rear left into the first complex, which put me down to, I don't know, 4th or 5th. But yeah,
right.
We climbed back up, and then obviously when we were fighting Thomas and Andy, James just gone again. So yeah, could have been a win, but championship-wise, that was brilliant.
You can't be unhappy being fast and consistent in the company that we had in the top 5 of that race.
Yeah, 100%. James is always going to be there. He's always going to be quick. Same with Andy. Same with, the other. I keep getting confused with the two Andys. They're both just stupid.
Oh, you and me both, and I'm supposed to know who you are.
But yeah, it's so competitive. Literally, I think 5 of us could have won it in that race, but yeah, good race overall.
Well done. Two smashing races. Well done on taking pole position as well. today, Lewis. And people need to bear in mind, of course, that you're carrying all that ballast. You didn't do the first event, so you can't. You've not got the luxury of dropping a score. Does that make you a marked man, do you think, for the finale? I mean, obviously you've got the ballast, but you've proved that the ballast doesn't appear to be an issue. Have you had a look at brands yet with the ballast, or is it something that you'll get onto straight away after this evening's broadcast is done?
No, I'll probably get on tomorrow. I think I'm a bit simmed out now, so definitely going to need a little bit of a break. But no, I think going into brands, it's my favourite track. I did a test day there last year, which was absolutely unreal. And yeah, it's definitely going to be a track that ballast would definitely hinder your pace, but I think because it's so technical, there's definitely more places where I could gain back the loss. So it's definitely going to be hard, but this round's definitely soothed my nerves a little bit more going into the last round with the gap. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So one final question. Sorry to keep pinging the questions at you, but you mentioned you're simmed out. I love that phrase. Really good phrase. What is relaxation for Lewis Stannard? Because we always think, oh, Lewis is probably on a sim to relax, but obviously you're not now. So what's the alternative? How are you going to relax?
Probably on the sim, but driving something else.
It had to be a bit of car related, didn't it? Lewis, happy driving, happy simulations, and we'll see you next week. And very well done on some great results and getting back into the championship lead.
Thank you.
That's Lewis Stannard, our P2 driver. And we come to our race winning driver. A double win, actually, for James Black, because James, you're our driver of the round as well. Well done.
I didn't expect that. Thank you very much. Yeah, if anyone needs tyre saving tips or a driver for hire for managing tyres, I'm available. That was super hard. Jesus. Say a normal Cooper race around Thruxton is hard enough as it is, but to manage a tyre for half an hour, and yeah, they kept me honest in that one.
I meant to ask Thomas about tyre management, and it did look. I think Thomas in race one was the first driver, who'd put the tyres through a good workout and had the first couple of wide runs. Is it that tricky?
Yeah, the compound we use is quite unique, and say even in like a normal half an hour race like around Silverstone or Oulton we've done before, we still got to be mindful of it. But this Thruxton obviously is especially hard on that front left tyre. I think at the start of the race, I was pretty much quite happy to sit behind Lewis and try and match what he was doing. So I was thinking, if I'm matching him, then we're going to have similar tyre wear, I guess. And it was unfortunate he had a little skirmish on the first sector. But yeah, it was super hard to manage. I think it was being in the lead was a bit fortunate. I think, especially into the chicane, you can really sort of just slow it down, take your tyre in, and just crack on while everyone sort of works their tyres behind you, which is what happened quite nicely.
You say fortunate, but you held the lead, and there was a huge amount of pressure all the way through that race. Well, not all the way through, maybe the last lap and a half or so, there was a big gap, but you soaked that up all the way through. So, defending and coping with that is just as much a part of racing to try and get ahead, isn't it?
You flatter me too much, Richard. You really do.
Not at all.
It's a very good point. I think everyone, we're all like Thomas and Lewis are both saying, anyone in that top five could have, won that race. And it's so good having the split tyres with everyone else, because you can see who's gaining. I saw Mackenzie and that was gaining as well. So I was like, it's gonna be like a 5-car battle at one point. So it's a little bit of mind game, especially with half an hour. It's easy, as you probably well saw, to go a bit too feisty on lap 1 or lap 2, and you're not there at the end of the race. So you've got to just sort of chill out for the majority of the race and then sort of let it come to you in the last 5 minutes.
We said last week, we had Tom Ovenden with us in the commentary box, that James Black was a driver to watch, because you were sort of sneaking up through the points, and you're actually up to third in the standings now.
Yeah, it's a shame I had to miss that round, but I wanted to have a lovely holiday out of it, so swings and roundabouts with that. But yeah, I think to be up there, considering the shocking race ones I had at the start of the season, shall we call it, was interesting. And say Tom obviously very wise of his picks to watch me climb up there. So yeah, I'm excited for brands, so home track and stuff. So look forward to there. We've got a couple of weeks to test as well, so have a bit more time.
Yeah, Harry Hickton's already started, so he's got
already on it already. He loves
it.
Yeah,
10 minutes 10 minutes advantage over everyone else, which we will remind him of at Knock Hill, and also when we come back to Brands GP. But yeah, James, super racing, mate, absolutely brilliant. What a pleasure to get to chat to you on our virtual podium. I just hope we get the chance to do it in the real world podiums and the real world paddock very soon as well. What's the agenda for the next couple of weeks? Obviously sim testing. Apart from that, what are you up to?
Sim testing. A lot more coaching. August is absolutely rammed for coaching, which is really cool. So
who are you doing? Who are you doing?
Are
you allowed to
variety.
say?
Yes, I can. So yeah, we've got the mini challenge Cooper round for the Avago Motorsport boys in the end of the month, which is exciting.
I love that Avago Motorsport. It's the best team name, isn't it? Avago.
It is, and I've obviously made the pun quite a few times to Dave Sutton's probably not appreciation, but you know, we're always having a good go at Avago Motorsport, and so Josh and Lou have been doing really well this year, and it's been great to see their progress. I think, you know, with a little bit of testing in the summer break we've had, I think we'll be looking strong for Donington. So yeah, other coaching stuff, doing bits of catering, which is really exciting. I need to give a shout out to Mr. Alex Reed, who I was working with today, who let me go just on time, so I just made qualifying. So I'd like to dedicate my race win to that man there.
So are you coaching Alex today?
No, so Alex is the chief instructor for catering. So we had 3 academy drive or potential academy drivers for next year.
Oh, right, okay.
So I finished at 5:15. Zoomed down the M11 and got home. I think I was listening to the safety briefing while on cruise control. So yeah, it's just made it in time, and yeah, it's a really exciting day, and look forward to more stuff in the future with them.
Always love chatting to you, James, and it's a shame we can't sort of do in picture interviews. Maybe that will come up. We used to do it, but maybe that's a thing that will come back. And I'm wondering whether we can get next week's co-commentator to interview you if you get on the podium, because I don't know who's going to get the most words in. But I don't know if you know who it is, but it's going to be an interesting one, because like yourself is a great character and well worth talking to. But James, well done, race win, driver of the round up to 3rd place in the championship. I think that's a good way to finish our podium interviews. And anything else you want to add before we go?
I don't know if you want to have I don't know if you want a video camera on me. I'm very sweaty at the moment in my room, and it's very dark. So, no, some people might be interested in that, but no, yeah. So say, you know, thank you for actually. I'm due one more shout out. Thank you to my mum for getting off Candy Crush or Facebook, whatever, which improved my internet connection, which helped me win. My dad walked in at the last minute and saw me win as well. So it's always a family affair in my household. So yeah, it was a lovely evening. Thank you for it all.
That's the best thank you I've ever heard. Well done, Mum, for getting off Candy Crush. You can't beat that, can you? As a racing star. Well done, James. We'll see you next week or 2 weeks.
Thank you. Cheers.
So there we go. That's our podium complete. We started with Thomas Potter in 3rd place, and then Lewis Stannard, the new championship leader, taking P2, and James Black, race winner, up into 3rd place. And before we move on to our shout out for the next round, already we've got the tantalising graphic on screen. Just a massive thank you to Ned Anthony, who has been superb like our other commentators. Ned, thank you so much. Been an absolute pleasure to do the work with you this evening, and to meet you and your mum and dad this year as well at the track. Part of a wonderful mini paddock. I'm not just saying that. Such lovely people all around the paddock. But thank you so much, and give our best regards to mum and dad. And hopefully you'll come back and do it for us again sometime. He's gone. I think Ned's gone. He couldn't wait to get away. I hope that means he will come back to us. So that is it. Oh, hello, you there?
Yeah, apologies. My mic was muted. So
I sprung that on you, Ned, a little bit, but I was gushing.
Yeah, you suggest me coming back, and I make a mistake at the last moment by having my mic muted.
We'll still have you back.
I do apologise.
Maintain an extremely high standard, but I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been really, really good, and I appreciate you having me on, and obviously the very kind words at the end of that there. So it's been very good.
No, thank you for coming on and helping us out. It's been really great. Ned Anthony, our co-commentator today. Broadcast by Steve Allen. And thank you to Steve for doing a super job. Thanks everyone for taking part in the championship, and all the people that... Oh, there's a lot of people we haven't name checked, but thanks everyone for doing all the bits and bobs. Remember, the final round is in 2 weeks' time. We've got another touring car, head-to-head touring car round with Scott Wilbis. Hopefully, Becky will be able to join us as well tomorrow. If you want to come and watch some more VRRC racing tomorrow, touring car style, please do. In the meantime, as I say, 2 weeks' time, Brands Hatch GP, which you can see on screen now, is our finale. Am I allowed to say who the co-commentator is yet?
Yes.
Our co-commentator at the final round is Tom Ingram. How about that? That's going to be mega. So join myself and Tom, see if I can get a word in sideways, and we'll have the conclusion of the championship. From Rich Hayden, Steve Allen, all the team at VRRC, and the official mini championship. Be nice to each other. Take care. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Between the two of them.
The inside of coats.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.